got to tell you about my golfing. When I was a young kid, 1924, I lived in Claypool there with my father down by the old Longmont School, and behind the school there we had a golf course. And first thing you know, I start caddying. Later on, when I got to running around the country, I always could find a place where there was a golf course and go to caddying, and I always could pick up like 75 cents. They got paid 75 cents a round for 18 holes and 35 cents for 9 holes. Well, anyway, I've heard so much about Catalina and what a beautiful area that was, and I decided to go to Catalina one time. I didn't have any money, but I knew that they had some golf course, and they had this beautiful golf course there, and they had a bunch of very well-to-do people that had yachts and stuff that come in there, and we could caddy. Well, anyway, the guy that was a caddy, I can't think of his name, but he was a Yugoslav. And us Yugoslavs sometimes stick together. And his first name was Mike, and Mike would turn around and he would give me the good loops. In other words, people that would tip pretty good, why Mike would see that I got his bag to carry the bags. Now, I don't know if you kids remember Laurel and Hardy, but I've caddied for him. I caddied for Bing Crosby. But the most famous guy that I ever caddied for is, let me tell you what happened. We're sitting out on the golf course by the clubhouse one day, and this big ship come in, and I'll never forget the name of it. It was the SS Hilda, and it was a 4-stacker. And I said, Jesus Christ, that looks like a passenger ship. She said, no, that's a yacht. That yacht belongs to Howard Hughes. And I said, who the hell is Howard Hughes? And they said, well, Danko, he's some young guy that inherited a lot of money from Oklahoma or something. Well, sure enough, the next day he'd come out, and he had a good-looking young girl with him, and our pro at that time was Jimmy Thompson, and he was a hell of a good golfer. And they went out, and this young girl, the first time that anybody that I'd ever seen a young girl wearing shorty pants in those days, those little shorts that are so popular on the tennis courts today, she was carrying those shorts on and walking around with us. And Howard Hughes was an excellent golfer. And I forget exactly how much he paid, but it was something like $5 a piece. It was 4 caddies with 4 of those players. Another guy that I remember was named Machado. He was the president of the Filipino Federation of America, whatever that amounts to, but I remember he was really the best tipper that we ever had. And he would always turn around and give the boys $10 a piece. And $10 a piece, where the regular fare was 70 cents, was a tremendous amount of money. And we spent, I guess, 2 or 3 months out there. And then somebody said they was making a picture down at the Isthmus. And I said, where the hell's the Isthmus? And he said, that's 21 miles down the coastline. But he says, that's blocked off. Nobody can go down there. I says, why not? He said, well, they're making a picture. Well, that made me, when they can't go down there, that's the reason I thought I'd go down. So sure enough, I started walking on a highway. And it was a dirt road. But anyway, I got down to the Isthmus. And when I got down there's nothing they could do but have to give me a job. So I went to work in the commissary there, in the boarding house. And it was making 2 pictures. One of them was Tiger Shark, and the other one was Rain with Joanne Crawford. Tiger Shark was made with Edward G. Robinson, and Rain was being made with Joanne Crawford. And right in front, they had a nice little beach right in front of the boarding house there. We used to play softball. And this Edward G. Robinson was really a nice man. I think he was a Bulgarian or something, and he come from that part of the country. When he found out I was a Yugoslav, just talking to him, he was real nice to me, and he was an avid fisherman. And he would go down on the pier in the mornings and fish, and he asked me, he said, "Did you ever fish?" I says, "No." He said, "Let me teach you how to fish." So I used to go down on the end of the pier with him, and early in the morning, before I went to work, and that was early in the morning, because I used to go to work about 6 o'clock in the morning, because I worked in the commissary there as a busboy or some damn dishwasher or something like that. But he'd get down at about 5 o'clock in the morning, and we'd fish until 6 o'clock. He was a real nice guy. Joanne Crawford, on the other hand, you never could see her because she would come down in a sedan. She lived in what they call a Banning home. The Banning home was the people who first owned Catalina Island and sold it later to P.K. Wrigley. And she would come down in this limousine with the curtains. In those days, they had curtains on the windows in automobiles. But we saw just a little bit of her when she'd come in going on and off the set. I kind of felt that, at that time her not letting anybody see her was a little bit not very nice. But the picture Rain, I think it's been made 2 or 3 times. It was a pretty good picture. It was a South Pacific Island picture of some kind. Edward G. Robinson, the tiger shark. I never did see it, but it was about sharks in those waters. And I remember that in that lagoon they'd net big sharks. I don't know what type of a shark they were, but they turned around and was filming that. And I forget, somebody was supposed to have lost a leg or something. But I spent maybe a month there, and I really enjoyed that. That was very, very nice. Later on, oh my God, just Duke and I, between the Isthmus and Avalon, which is the main city of Catalina, is a little place called White's Beach. And it's a very, very nice area. And Duke used to love to go over there and spend 2, 3, 4 days just sitting on his boat and playing cards and chatting and enjoying life. And I had the pleasure of spending, I guess 3 or 4 times with him there. It was very, very nice.